Hello guys, good morning. Well, actually, good afternoon. Today is Saturday. We're gonna be doing a little bit of back testing and seeing if anything good just out of it. This is the one that I showed on the previous video, which was uploaded yesterday. Oh well, yesterday from today's date. Hold on, let me actually set everything up. Cool. So currently at 57% profit. To show you this history, actually statistics will be better. 43 wins, 34 losses. Keep in mind that I think break-evens are also losses or might also be wins. I can't really say for sure. I could probably check it whenever we actually get a break-even or something like that. I think that'll be worth it. So you can see pretty staggered. I don't know if the staggered is actually a word. Basically, a bit stuck on that 50-something% profit in the past few days that I've backtested. And the reason why I don't tend to record too much backtesting is first of all because I don't like it, so I don't tend to backtest that much. And when I do, I like having music, singing around, doing bullshit. So yeah, I just don't do it that much. So I'm actually going to show you the times we'll be using as well, just in case you want to use those. Well, these are the times that you gotta use, I think. So 11 to 15 I actually think is wrong because it's 5 hours and theoretically it should be from 7 to 10, so it's 3 hours. So this is something that I actually realized on when I was recording previous video. And yeah, that's a little bit of an issue. But we'll keep it like that just for now. Session opens at 12:30, a list from March 13th to November, and we're currently on June 13th, so yeah, no issues on that. And as you know, we'll be using the 5 steps we've been using, right, which is exactly this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. On a backtest, as I showed on the video, I tend to just look for this. I don't like doing much of an analysis, honestly. When backtesting, I tend to focus more on the execution than the actual analysis behind the trade. So it's like I look for these 5 things. Let me find them again. These 5 things, but usually before these 5 things, you have like what happened through London, through midnight. Maybe you have a daily bias. Weekly and daily biases tend to not have it all on backtesting. Don't really put that much effort in backtesting, and probably should. Not saying that you should do it like this. I'm just saying that this is the way that I do it. And yeah, it is what it is. So I don't know what this line is, but definitely old. So you can see this is exactly where we currently are. We've taken some sell side liquidity below this low, still respected this low here to the left, kind of retracing, although we could have, it's kind of ranging. And in my opinion, if we look a bit close, all of this just causing multiple reactions around the level. So I wouldn't say that a lot of sell side was taken just to look for it all the way up to this high. So I'm not gonna be expecting that much bullishness, but we do have some reasons to believe price could be bullish. So if I analyze a bit into midnight and everything, midnight begins at 4. 4 is here, trades a bit higher, a bit lower, aggressively higher. Fair value gap in here through London probably continues higher because you have retracement, so they continue higher. Again, I don't pay that much attention to those facts. Now we're going to split through base 1. And let's see what we have. So run and sell side liquidity below both of these lows. Run and buy side liquidity about that high. Tiny bit of a fair value gap, mitigated, worked. Let me change the music because it's awful. And not the best either. So could be expecting bullishness, right? We have fair value gap here that price could trade into. We could apply Fibonacci to this just to see what we could see price retracing up to, and it has retraced exactly to the tick of 61.8, which is nice to see, but I'm not that interested in the bearish side, at least not right now. But we did have a run buy side. Let's just give it a couple more candles, see what it does. Again, could we be looking for buys here? Yes, kind of, but I tend to like more waiting for the session to actually give me like the 5 things together. So we have the market shift on the 1 minute here, the fair value gap here, stop loss will be all the way down to that, but I'm not going to be taking advantage of this. Good trade so far, probably already at a break even, so that would have worked out quite lovely. Price just going higher. Where are we now? We're reacting at this little bit of an order block, probably in a higher time frame. Let's give it a couple of minutes. Probably just going to cause somewhat of a reaction. Not much more than that. I wouldn't expect it to completely turn now. 50-minute fair value gap we had in there as well. 50-minute fair value gap in here. No, I don't get the order block. Not much for me to do right now. I'm not interested in buying. Sorry, in selling. So for me to sell, I would need some really good confluences. At least from what we have right now. And this will be 11 already, so definitely not trading past this point. So this is the only trade that we could have actually taken advantage of. Yeah, not very interested on it. Could have we taken it and get away with some profits? Probably, because entry was stop was sort of an awful low. So we enter there. Stop loss is I'm not sure if this is 60. It's probably 6 pips, and peaks at not even 3R. Right, that's 173 ticks, so 17 pips, so not even 3R. So yeah, that would have been difficult. I don't know if later we do see a continuation. Yeah, we do. So maybe if allowed to continue to run, that would work out well, but again, not something that we're taking advantage of, if I can be honest. Let's jump on to Thursday in this case, 11 a.m. as usual. But just because of the stop loss, that would have been a very complicated entry from my point of view. So I'm not worried about missing out on that move. Cool. Price just kind of going higher above a lot of buy side liquidity. What is this? Oh, this happened through the night. Oh, okay. So the lowest point of this couple of mitigations was that. As you can see, price nicked through the low. That's actually really cool. It's a really good indication that price could continue to go higher. So just worth mentioning. A little bit of a messy price action, honestly, because it is going higher, but as you can see, it does it like very slowly, and this just ruined the entire day. Not sure why. Why is that? Probably knows, of course, but yeah, that's why I wasn't really trusting that buy side. Sorry, that moving higher. But as you can see, this candle goes all the way up to this level, right? Which means that it took all of the buy side liquidity. So run on sell side, run on buy side, aggression lower, and it got pretty low and might continue to get lower than that. But this is definitely, oh shit, I'm actually missing out on Friday apparently. My bad. This is definitely gonna ruin Friday as well, because which is that huge move there. It's gonna ruin a bit things. But hopefully we can get something in, and if not, we'll then just jump into the next week, honestly. We're gonna have to force opportunities to be profitable, so it's just chill. Okay, can we expect a retracement after something like that? Yes, so we could see bullish prices. Also, we've taken tons of sell-side liquidity, so it's understandable. Have a huge liquidity void in this. So, as an example, if we wanted to be conservative while trying to buy, there's something that we could use, right? And first target could be the 50%. So we'll leave it there and see what we can do. But again, this is going to be a bit complicated to actually take advantage of. And yeah, let's just move on. Okay, session begins. Tiny run on the sell side here. Wouldn't be that convinced of looking for buys in here. We do have a run on stops and all and everything that you would look for, right? But the run on stops is really tiny. It's not really clear and important low, which kind of ruins it, but still it could work out, you know. We'll see what happens if price actually retraces down into that. But for now, there's not much that we can do. We have the FIBO. Yeah, it's all the way up here. So you can see. There's a fair value gap in here. Of course, we're not trading that because the fair value gap wasn't created after taking buy side, well, sell side liquidity in this case. Also, bearishly, as you can see, there's no fair value gap in the 15 in the 5-minute, and in the 15-minute, there's no market shift, so nothing for us to look for. So I'm interested in this. Might be a bit too late though. Tying you on the sell side. I actually didn't check if we had a 15-minute fair value gap in this. Yeah, here, up there. Just not the greatest one, but definitely something, so might as well draw it. Up to that. And let's see if the lower time frames actually give us an entry on this thing. Yeah. So this not, because sure we could have placed our entry here, but not even this one's actually mitigated, so no. I need to check the 5 because I actually didn't show this there. Reacts might be getting a market shift now, but no fair value gap yet. So nothing for us to do. Now we have a market shift. We have a fair value gap. Honestly, for me, it's not worth it. It's just very messy price action. Couple of equal lows down here. So yeah, no, I'm not interested on this. Let's just look at how it turns out, if it works or not. And that would have been a loss because my stop loss would have been below this low if I wanted to be a bit more conservative going with this stop loss. But honestly, I don't really think that this will actually work out in the long term. And it would have not, right? Even the sell side here creates a market shift for belly gap, but it respects the liquidity up here and continues going higher. It takes a buy side aggressively lower. Opportunity to buy, opportunity to sell. Honestly, we might get something here. But no, the fair value gap is not created. It does mitigate this fair value gap down here. No, not even that. Nothing. Honestly, nothing. Again, the price action, in my opinion, was a bit ruined due to sorry, went next hour there. Due to the drop on Thursday, so it's understandable why price could do what it has. I'm still expecting it to retrace because it has to fill some of that gap at least. But as I've mentioned a couple of times, the thing that price has to do certain things, but it doesn't necessarily have to do it like right now. So even if we're in a trade and we expect a lower high to be taken, it doesn't necessarily need to do it right away. So I just gotta keep in mind that. For now, no losses, well, actually no trades at all. Let me check the daily chart before we jump onto this week. This drop, fair value gap in the daily chart. Now I'm gonna leave this because we're gonna need it. But we'll definitely put a let me delete this because I'm tired of them. Can I put text over it? Daily fair value gap. Yeah, cool. Hopefully we can see it clearly from the lower time frames. I actually gotta sync it. So I'm kind of hoping, not hoping, but expecting price to actually trade within that fair value gap first, and then I really don't know what could happen, but that's the first thing we want to see if we want to be selling. And if we want to be buying, well, we just we need confidences to buy. Honestly, at the time we don't have anything on either side, and say the complication with this one is that we have somewhat of a range in here, right? If we do it like this, somewhat of a range there. Price goes higher, takes that, starts going aggressively lower, fair value gaps in here. But my problem is that it's currently reacting pretty close to this high. So in my opinion, it's just buy side liquidity being built up. So I'm gonna wait for something else. I'm not gonna look for opportunities in that. And maybe we can see this low being taken since we're close to it. Right, we're having multiple mitigations on it. It could be nice to see that being taken to then see move higher. But yeah, this is very untradeable price action at the time. I do like this potential order block due to the fair value gap due to the aggression, but honestly, not gonna be looking for that. I might be more interested in this, right? That run and buy side. So let's see what it does here in the lower time frames. Fair value gap in 5, market shift in the 1 minute. No reason to buy, no reason to sell. Also already after 11, so yeah, not gonna be doing this. Basically, if we go to 5 minute, what did it do? Nothing, really nothing. Even if we would have tried to look for sales, as you can see, it goes above the high without really giving us much. Could we expected this for value gap to work out? Yeah, maybe if we would have looked for low time frame opportunities, but just pretty messy price action. Not interested on it. So yeah, let's just move on if I can. Thank you. Okay, cool. So this was Monday. Let's go to Tuesday. 11. There it is. The Fibonacci. It did. When did it trade above that daily fair value gap? So after the session, yeah, okay. Trades above that, equal highs, aggressively moves lower, fair value gap. Again, look at this. I'll show you this. So you understand what I mean. Okay, cool. Market shift, right? Where we're looking for the fair value gaps from this high down to this low. What do we get here? Fair value gap. Trace back into it. Potentially seeing lower time frame opportunities. Potentially, we don't know. We're not gonna look into it. Yeah, cool. Clear bearish direction for the week, in my opinion. We'll see if it will last as much as we'd hope for it to. Yeah, we have a good bias, in my opinion. London session was definitely cool on that direction at least. And let me, not interested in this anymore, although theoretically we should see this for Fibonacci not working out, but I'm gonna delete it for now. We'll use it later on. As an example, right now we actually have this one. This is a Fibonacci that we could be looking into, right, to expect some amount of a retracement to then continue with the bearish trend, which yeah, we'll actually keep. This one I need to delete. Cool. Okay, let's see what we get. Expecting bearishness, so run on buy side liquidity, displacement lower, so on and so forth. Hopefully happening through the session. Okay. Can we say run on sell side, fair value gap, lower time frame entry, correction higher? Maybe. Not gonna be looking into that for now. This range should be taken as liquidity. Yeah. Okay. Check the 15 per sec. Okay, let me actually see if anything showed up in this to trade. We can see it from here. Aggression higher. This would have been the fair value gap, or maybe this one. Although I would have tried to get a list inside this area again, right? So, in my opinion, not a trigger. Plus, it does pull away quite a lot before actually triggering the entry. So, very likely not an entry for me. So let's just see if we get anything. Not much. And nothing for us to do. To stay without trades. Let me see. Fair value gap without a market shift. Yeah, no, we don't get a market shift here in the 5-minute fair value gap, so nothing for us to do. Could have not bought, could have not sold. Nothing for me to do. Couple of uninteresting days, sadly. I don't want to make cuts either, because I don't want people to think that I'm doing something in here. I'm in the 5-minute, my iPad. Cool. Let me see the daily first. So that low was respected. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Let me go back to the 5. because that low was respected. And as you can see, actually, we don't need to do this. It does mitigate the 50 run on buy side liquidity, aggression lower. Gonna be bearish still for this week. As I mentioned on Tuesday, well, yesterday's price action. Tiny run on buy side liquidity will be great to see. And then, of course, the displacement lower. Okay, took that highest liquidity. No run on sell side just yet, so nothing for me to do. Interested in a reversal. We have a market shift, but the fair value gap was filled by that, so not ideal. Let's see the 1 minute. The 1 minute gives an entry when it breaks this low market shift. Fair value gap in here. Nicks the not nicks, but basically aggressively jumps onto that and starts going aggressively lower. Cool. Just see if we get something. Let me check the 15. 15 has a long way to get somewhere. So we have a fair value gap in here. This is where I run into issues because, as an example, in my opinion, we have a pretty clear trend already. Because we already expect the week to be bearish, and we had multiple runs of buy side liquidity, aggression lower in the 5 minute, market shift, and everything. And now, as an example, we could definitely be looking into this fair value gap to enter just by following the trend. But if we go back into the 5 steps or the 5 instructions to take an entry, we do have the run stubs, we do have the 5 minute market shift and displacement, but the fair value gap is not within this high. This is not where we're looking for our entries. Right now, we will be looking for our entries all the way down here, which is obviously not ideal. But let's see if the lower time frame entries, lower time frame helps. There's a fair value gap in there. Actually, no, there's not, but I wouldn't trust it either way because it's just very messy price action. I prefer seeing this couple of highs being taken as liquidity before taking that. So, yeah. Yeah, took the liquidity. Could create a market shift and fair value gap. No fair value gap, sorry, not market shift. There is a fair value gap, as you can see there. Market shift, no fair value gap. And that's why it fails. If we wait for the confluences, we are going to avoid losses like that. We have front sell side, fair value gap in the 5 minute. It's already 3, so 11 a.m. New York. So I'm gonna not trade this, but let's see if it does anything with it. If I was to take that buy, this would have been my target. After seeing this, probably would target this high, looking for that buy side liquidity. And maybe taken out already? Yeah, taken out. So let me see if the lower time frame gave us an entry on that. So this is where it mitigates the fair value gap, goes aggressively higher, no fair value gap. So the market shift, where's the market shift? On this high. This is a fair value gap, but that's not something I would have taken. And unless I would have risked myself to take something like this, I don't think I would have been triggered. So no, missed out opportunity on that one either. And again, it was outside 3 p.m., so I would have not taken it either way. But it's always good to look into the lower time frames either way, just in case an opportunity showed up and you wanna know how it worked out, right? So having a bearish week as expected. We're on Thursday now. Yeah, Thursday. And again, looking for the exact same thing over and over. It's all that we gotta do. Been avoiding a couple of losses so far. Not many opportunities or nothing really clear list. So yeah, we could be looking into this. Of course, it's already a discount. Sorry, premium. That high should be taken. I think it was. It was taken. Fair value gap, market shift. I'm interested in seeing if this fair value gap is respected until the open, right? Because that'll be great, but it isn't. And it also doesn't work at all. So great. Now we have the open. Goes higher, aggressively higher. A lot of buys out liquidity, which is good if we're looking for sells, and that ruins price action. Cool. Nothing for me to do about that. We could be saying, so it took a lot of buys out liquidity. Definitely has. I might risk it and see if we get something clear to take here. But of course we have the market shift on this low. Fair value gap. Let's just see what it does. Let's spectate a bit and see what it does. If there's anything clear, then I'll think about it, but otherwise, well, this is a market shift. This is a fair value gap in the 1 minute. Thinking about a half risk trade, just looking for a few R's. But I'm really not that interested on it. Let's go with half risk. See what we can get from it. And we're gonna do a market as we're pretty close, and I don't want to put pending because we're just gonna put numbers for a long time before we actually get to place the entry. So just do like this. Is that fine? Yeah, it should be all right. Let's see what it does, if anything. As you can see, I do think we get a trigger. We definitely do get a trigger. And immediate stop out. Yeah. As an example, now that this has been taken as liquidity, lower time frame entry like this could be worth, but it didn't make sense since the beginning, so we're just gonna ignore that. Let's see, the 1 minute. This wasn't triggered, so we would have not been triggered, and now we would have been taken out. So nothing for us to do. Now sell side liquidity taken, which means that we could be looking into this fair value gap that has been just created after the market shift as well. Right, market shift about that high. Doesn't trade back into it and continues going higher, and nothing for us to do. Done a bit of a loss on that one, sadly. Again, trade didn't make sense at all. That was worth the try, right? Let me want to delete some of the drawings because I don't want to make too much of a mess on the charts. I'm still expecting a bearish week. As you saw, that was Thursday, and Thursdays tend to go against the trend. So the fact that it went bullish doesn't really surprise me that much, but we are above this high, which I honestly would have not expected to be respected. We have had an enormous amount of sell side liquidity being taken, and actually, could that mean that this... No, not really, because I was thinking maybe I missed out on an opportunity in this when all of that sell side was taken, but as you can see, this is the price action that that's provided by the kill zone. So yeah, no opportunity to buy as we were able to see. Just wanted to make sure of that, just in case. So let's rush up to 12:30. And we have a timing run about that high. If we're still expecting the week to be bearish after this, then it'd be a nice opportunity to sell off and expect it to trade around this area, right? Maybe we're tracing at least below these lows, but I wouldn't be interested in trading it that low. So let's just see what we get. Actually sync this up, and we got this again for some reason. Cool. So it just took buy side liquidity, but there's no fair value gap on that, so nothing for me to do. If I wanted to continue to buy, remember we need run on sell side, which we haven't gotten just yet. Aggression lower could be a Judas swing, so we need to be careful with it. Market shift hadn't happened for me to look for this entry on that fair value gap. Now it has. Let me see what the 1 minute did on that. Really not much, but this could be an opportunity to take. So let's analyze it. Run and buy side liquidity here. Aggression lower. creates a fair value gap, price trades into that, continues aggressively lower. We've seen clearly a retracement. It has respected, not sure if respected, but definitely traded up to this order block here. And it does respect the wicks. So respects that, goes aggressively lower, market shift. It makes sense, but my only issue is that the fair value gap was mitigated before the market shift, which is not ideal. But we'll take it anyways and see how it works out. With a usual risk. Because we have what we look for. Entry will be 16,513. 16. I hate this application sometimes. 16,513. Oh, what happened? 513. Okay. Stop loss has to be all the way up here, sadly. 16,599. 16,599. And sorry, that's the stop loss. Okay. For some reason it's okay. This is stop loss and target wise. Let's go 16.0. We'll set that up later. Let's make sure it's okay. It's okay. Cool. So, see if we're triggered. We're definitely triggered on that. Let me check where the target is. It's fine for now. So, what are we looking for? Ideally, first below this lows, potentially taking the first partials, and then the furthest that I go with this will be this low. That's as far as I'd go. But how much do we get? So we're risking 300. This right here is 5%. So we could lower that to 1200 to make it 4. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm yet not entirely sure what the direction is for the week. It could still be bullish, therefore this could be a move against the trend to take some buys, some sells out liquidity from this couple of lows or this lows to then just completely turn against me and go bullish. So I want to be careful with that. And even if it manages to get all the way down to this lows and then this low and then will potentially to my target, I really don't know where it'll stop. Because I could still say we are likely getting below this lows, below this one, below that one. But I really can't say for sure because we are maybe going against the trend and we really don't know that at the time. Okay, that's actually a pretty good start. Gonna draw this. It's a fair value gap. Just in case it gives something in the lower time frames. We are below this already. And I'm very I'm very interested in moving my stop loss above this high, honestly. It could still work out afterwards. Now we're gonna keep the stop loss where it is. And okay. So let's do this right. If I would have seen that drop, as soon as it goes below this couple of lows, we would have taken a good amount of partials. So let's see it happening. Okay, no. Let's do it with ticks, although it might have just imploded lower. There it is. Cool. So currently running around a 2%. So I'm just gonna close 30% of the position. I'm risking a 1%, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. And then I would have allowed the rest to run. Although again, if I'm seeing this happening live and this is where price stops, I'm closing the entire trade. For obvious reasons. When price does something like this, it tends to either continue to drop or retrace aggressively. We'll see what it was. It retraced. And it would have been taken out on break even, so that's great. Right. Okay, cool. So that'll be pretty much it. We've backtested, I think, 2 weeks and something. We didn't get any trades, honestly, which is sad because it could have been a very nice video. And let's actually test something. Let me put a let me see what the next couple of candles do. So let's manufacture a break even. Okay, so we'll buy 0.01 right now. Okay, a stop loss. We need to set the stop loss. 576, 16,576. Just to test out if the break even, and probably should have checked it before. If the break even counts as a stop loss, as a win, whatever it does. So we currently have 45.35. Right, so let me write it here. 45 win, 35 losses. That's all we need, isn't it? Okay, cool. So let's allow the next candle to run. Maybe we can see it live. And now we'll move our stop losses to break even. And let's see if this changes as a loss. Okay, cool. So that's fine that's good to know, because now we know that, as an example, break-evens count as losses, and I've had many break-evens. I mean, we could look into the chart like this. Sorry, from here. In the past, before this video, because today we didn't really get any break-evens. This is a break-even as an example, so this is a loss that is counted as a break-even, right? As you can see, I did take partials here and then there. This so we have a loss, and that's maybe a tiny bit of a partial. Can't really say for sure what that is. Oh, there's a Fibonacci. That's a loss. It's a loss. This is a couple of wins. Multiple of them. Multiple partials taken. Yeah, I'm not gonna bore you with this. I know there's a couple of sells. There's a couple of trades. Reacting to the order block right there. Cool. This is a break-even, so that's another theoretical loss. Even took partials on it. So of course, partials also count as profit trades. So yeah, it's a bit difficult to count on the statistic. But as an example, what I kind of wanted to do, which is definitely not gonna work out as great, is say, let's go to the calculator. Let's say it says that my profit factor is 3, is a 1 to a 3 basically. So if I had 45 trades on which I made 3R, that's 135, against 36 trades where I lost 1R, that's 99R profitable, right? So theoretically 99%, but of course there are trades, again, partials taken count as profit trades. Half risk trades also count as that. Also, we have losses that were half risk. So yeah, it's a lot of things that sadly this doesn't entirely count, right? Entirely count. And yeah, $800 in commissions. So yeah, I think it was a fine video because it shows how you can have days like this, not days like this, but days like that where you don't really see much opportunities, and still can manage to get out there profitable. I don't really remember where it was when we started this 61. I think it was 55, 54. Do keep in mind that, as an example, if I take right now, if I take a 1% gain, which will be $322, it would actually count as 1.5. because it counts on the starting balance, which was 20,000. So 300 is 1.5 instead of 1%. That's why if I were to take a loss, I wouldn't really lose at 1% on this specifically. I will lose at 1% on the balance, but not on the starting balance. I will lose like a 1.5. Reason why, if I was to take a loss of a 1%, it'd discount 1.5 or 1.6 or something like that. So really good video. From my opinion, of course, from my point of view. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you took something away from it, and I'll be seeing you on to the next one.